forget when car companies such as Ford, Chevrolet, BMW, Porsche, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota created sports cars that were exciting to drive and affordable. In the 1990s, car companies offered a great lineup of great-looking retro sports cars ever made. Our first pick, we have this beautiful 1990 Ford Mustang GT design. For the most part, the Fox body Mustang was largely unchanged from its major update in 1987, which included thorough design updates and a boost in performance. Say what you will about the Fox body 1990 Mustang GT, but there are people out there who will always have a love for this generation of the American symbol, and for once, I can get on the bandwagon and share the enthusiasm. That being said, the beefy rear tires and the awesome body design may provide a hint as to why this 1990 Ford Mustang GT in vermilion red is so special. The engine options for the iconic 5.0-liter V8 Mustang were given 225 horsepower and 300 feet of torque. Talking about domestics, our second pick, we have this insane beast, the 1990 Corvette CR1 developed by Chevrolet. The Corvette CR1 can prove to be the greatest in the world with all the wham-bam power that you could ask for, yet its persona and demeanor are such that drivers of high-performance cars are remarkably better protected from themselves. Does it mean you might get into trouble behind the Corvette CR1? No. Does this mean that you can be totally addicted or fall victim to its awesome power and speed? Yes. Left by its own devices, the CR1 is at once the most exciting and responsible high-performance car ever conceived in Detroit, let alone ever built. The Corvette CR1 engine was a spectacular V8 with 380 horsepower at 6,200 RPM and 370 foot-pounds of torque. Also, with the help of Lotus, the Corvette CR1 braking system was enhanced as well. Not bad for a 1990 Corvette. Third in line, we have the Japanese import's stunning rivals such as this 1990 Nissan 300ZX. The 1990 300ZX was one of the first cars designed with computer software and featured a host of innovations, including optional four-wheel steering in the turbo versions. 30 years ago, when Nissan revealed the 300ZX, it was an amazing sight to see. The 300ZX was pushing the boundaries of engineering marvels in design and performance. The 300ZX was also doing very well in sales during that time. The 300ZX engine specs came with a V6 twin-turbo producing close to 300 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 283 feet-pounds of torque. The 300ZX sleek body style could grab anyone's attention if you walked past it. It was an eye-catcher, a superb design that Nissan did a pretty good job creating an iconic classic that we all know today. As we continue our journey, our fourth pick, we have this infamous 1991 MR2 Turbo. In all due respect, we shouldn't be calling it the poor man's Ferrari, but it should be highly respected in the car community as one of the unique styles of its time. The 1991 MR2 Turbo 2nd Gen made its debut, causing hysteria within the industrial car industry. With its T-tops and flip-up lights, it can be distinguished very easily from other cars. This was the time when Toyota created great mid-engine sports cars that actually ran well and were sporty looking. The MR2 Turbo came with a 3S GT engine producing 200 horsepower at 6,000 RPM with 200 pounds-feet of torque. In those days, it was considered to be pretty fast due to its lightweight design. The MR2 Turbo performed well on the road and was considered track-worthy at the time. The next fifth in line, we have this unforgettable redesigned 1993 Toyota Supra, Toyota's greatest weapon when it was created. We marveled at its speed and functionality, bringing the import scene to a higher height with its unmistakable design style that captured and won the hearts of every Toyota fan. I'm not saying it was the best ever made, but in my opinion, it brought competition to the Mustang and Corvette at the time. The Toyota Supra didn't hit fame until the late 1990s, showcasing the car like in the movie franchise, The Fast and the Furious. The Supra featured 320 horsepower twin-turbo 3 liters, 24-valve inline V6 accelerated to 60 in just 4.9 seconds. Now we're getting into the higher-end sports cars. This was a great period for the extreme variety of different failures and also advances in car technology. The sixth lineup we have now is the more grungier of them all, the 1992 Dodge Viper. The first-gen model was a beast, and the driver had to learn how to control it or face the consequences. Brake system or traction stability control at the time. Plus, there were no airbags if you crashed and no air conditioning to defog the windshield. But who cares about all that when you have a whopping 450 horsepower at 4,600 RPM? The 8-liter V10 and 6-speed transmission were a monster. The Dodge Viper looked crazy, giving it an aggressive-looking frontal design. As cool as the name sounded back then also, this mental muscle car was a dangerous machine back then. As we continue through the lineup of great sports cars, our seventh in-line pick, we have this stunning 1992 RX-7. The RX-7 was widely considered one of the most beautiful and desirable Japanese cars of the 90s. And I mean that literally. Just look at the design and style of the car. It brought a futuristic design appeal that carried the reminiscence of the past models. The black leather upholstery inside the cabin creates comfort that includes a Bose sound system with a CD player. Under the bonnet, there is a stock 1.3-liter sequentially turbocharged rotary engine producing 236 horsepower, which is sent to the rear of the wheels through a 5-speed manual gearbox with the help of a limited slip differential. No doubt, the Mazda RX-7 won the looks, but it performed like a beast, roaming the streets looking for any competitor it could find. That, my friend, is what a real sports car ingenuity is all about. Let's now go down further into the list and see what surprises we have in store now. Our next runner-up, we have this gorgeous 90s BMW M3, which is a real classic sports car that has eventually gained in price over the years. The M3, perhaps more than any other model produced by the Bavarian carmaker, helped to define the brand as the ultimate driving machine. The M3 is a high-performance variant of the 3 Series in production since 1986 and is available in coupe, sedan, and convertible models. It benefited from a host of upgrades over the standard 3 Series, including a performance engine, brakes, suspension, exterior aerodynamics, and extensive use of lightweight materials. All of these factors have helped to make the first-generation model BMW M3 particularly prized for its agility, crisp acceleration, and driving dynamics. The specs on the car carry an inline 4-cylinder engine producing at least 192 horsepower at 6,750 RPM and 170 feet-pounds of torque. Coming in at 9th place, we have the sleek 1990 Porsche 911 Carrera. The higher-end sports car Porsche 911 can be traced back to its roots in the 1930s, starting as a small company and eventually gradually building the reputation of innovative designs. Interestingly, it was not initially conceived as a luxury brand, and while its image was associated with class and responsibility, it was approached with a utilitarian high-quality vehicle and somewhat affordable sports car at the time. The characteristics of the Porsche 911 Carrera in the 1990s allow us to define it as a high-performance sports car brand during that time. The Porsche 911 was in high demand, limited in availability, and was characterized by a higher price tag. Importantly, the price was justified by high-quality standards, which is not necessary for a luxury segment vehicle. The Porsche 911 specs can be seen having an aspirated engine producing 247 horsepower at 6,100 RPM and 228 foot-pound of torque. The engine layout is similar to the MR2 and placed at the rear of the vehicle, providing better handling and sharper turns in the corners with a smooth 5-speed gearbox. Last but not least, in 10th place is the 1990 Mitsubishi 3000 GT, which was designed to be the company's flagship model at the time. It came loaded with more technology than you can shake a stick at. However, while the 3000 GT isn't quite as fondly remembered as the Toyota Supra or Mazda RX-7, it is still one of the greatest cars to come from the land of the rising sun. The long flat hood, the small cabin, and the big rear window were part of the Japanese styling. In its heyday, the 3000 GT was a complex, technologically sophisticated car with a high-tech design that made it perform much better than its predecessor. If you prefer a car that has less complexity, then you are better off with a Toyota Supra or a Nissan 300ZX, which has a simple rear-wheel drive and fewer clever components. The 3000 GT power was there, but due to the high curb weight of 3,800 pounds kept it back. The car engine comes with a twin-cam, 24-valve 3.0-liter V6 engine rated at 222 horsepower. As a bonus, let's squeeze in the famous 1990 Acura NSX, which is a prize gem for Honda and Acura. Honda's goal for the NSX was actually what most media stories portray the car today, to build a bona fide exotic supercar, but one without ergonomic and reliability penalties associated with that type of car. The development team pushed their limits by creating a sports car with high performance, reliability, and unique styling that could hang with the heavyweights of exotic cars at the time. Essentially, they wanted it all and gave the NSX the greater potential that could do everything without compromise. The 1990 Acura NSX was a mid-mounted engine powering the rear wheels. It's a 3-liter V6 naturally aspirated engine delivering 274 horsepower at 7,300 RPM and 284 foot-pounds of torque. It comes with a 5-speed manual gearbox which delivers the power to the wheels. There's no question that Honda developed one of the most highly anticipated greatest inline sports car, the Acura NSX of the future back in the 90s. We have now covered 10 plus 1 bonus of the best legends of the 90s, and that era was the golden period for domestic, Euro, and import cars. And car manufacturers such as Ford, Chevrolet, BMW, Porsche, Mazda, Toyota, Acura, Honda, and Nissan were producing some insane sports car vehicles at the time. If you enjoyed the video and the content, please like and subscribe. We will provide more videos like this if we generate enough interest. Please leave a comment down below. And thanks again for watching the video. See you back soon.